Probably one of my biggest mentors, Ben Braun. He's been hitting me over the head for a month now on just, hey, making sure you coach these guys a little differently than you have your other guys in the past, because we're so new and not inexperienced, but inexperienced in our situation. So I have to be a little bit more patient. But one of my themes with this group has been we have a chance to improve more than any team in the country because we are so new. And so that's really what we're trying to concentrate on. And that's really what happened in the game. We improved from the first half to the second half today. And we made enough plays to win the game.
The one thing that you were concerned about was the lack of players available in the front court and managing Trey Williams' minutes. He played 37 minutes, and stamina and foul trouble didn't seem to be much of a problem for him. Was that part of the game plan eventually to change, or did you just say, hey, he's playing well, let him roll with it?
We don't really have many options. I mean, Monir's done a really good job of getting better, but he's not quite ready yet. I thought Trey was gassed, but we didn't have any choice. You just got to go with the best you have available. I thought Kevin was gassed. That's why I played Davis at the end. And really, when we played Davis at the 4 spot, we're like a high school team. So when those other guys get back, we're going to move him the other direction, which will help us. But we played good enough to win, and it's not really much different than I anticipated, really. Like, we're going to have our issues until we get another couple, 3-4 weeks, and, we get all our guys back. And, we made enough plays. I thought Leon Ayers and Primo made enough plays to really help us when it really mattered.
You guys were really successful from three-point range, shooting 40%. Where do you think were some of the biggest keys to that?
Better shooters. I mean, they went small, and they paid the price. We scored a couple inside, and then they doubled, and then we made one. But, Leon was a 39% three-point shooter, and Easley's a good three-point shooter. R.J. Gunn's a really good three-point shooter. Tyson, we got more guys this year when we get them all back. I think R.J.'s going to be a key guy for us, because that gives us another big body that can shoot the ball from the perimeter. So they did some things tonight that nobody's done to us in 5 years, the way they played the ball screen. So we really haven't practiced that. Hardly anybody presses up like they did tonight. They took our role away, right? Because especially when Primo was in the game, because they didn't think he'd shoot the 3 ball. And it worked well for him because we couldn't get downhill. And we haven't really practiced that much. We've practiced everything else but that.
Keith, defensively, how do you feel the ebbs and flows were managed tonight?
We were okay. I wouldn't say we were great. I mean, we tried hard, and I thought we played better defense when it mattered. But a lot of that's personnel-based. I think when we get all our guys and we can give those guys rest in the front court, now we become a little bit better. We got to play better in the perimeter. I thought, that's probably one of Leon's weakest areas is guarding the ball and things like that. But he did make some plays. But we got to be better, especially on the perimeter defensively. Right now, we're not capable of being great inside because we just don't have enough bodies.
You said all along this might be your best team. Why? I mean, what are some of the characteristics?
Well, they have high character, number one. I think they showed that tonight, even when things weren't going great. I use Easley as an example. He played, this is his 4th year of college basketball. He played in the Big 12, and I yanked him after 2 defensive mistakes and never put him back in, and he never said a word. So, that wouldn't have happened last year. So I think when we get those other guys healthy and we continue to understand what we're trying to accomplish, we're playing 2 freshman point guards, and then a bunch of new guys. I think eventually we'll start to play pretty good. I don't think we're very good right now, but we don't have to be very good right now. We just have to win. So every game gets a little bit harder. Hofstra, then Weber, then Northeastern, and then boom, 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 boom. So, we just got to survive and advance until we get everybody. And hopefully we get those guys back in the next couple weeks, which we're hoping.
When was the last time that you, as a head coach or as a coach in general, had this many kind of new faces and new pieces to all fit together and get synced up? And how does this group kind of compare to that group, to previous groups that you've had that had so many new pieces?
So in 13 years at Akron, I never had a team like this. I never had an inexperienced team. I always had 6, 7, 8 guys back, you know. And then probably the last time it happened was my first year here, right? That's probably the closest thing, you know, to experiencing that. Maybe my first year at Savy, my first year at Central Michigan, my first year at Tiffin. I had a lot of guys at Ashland when I first got there. They weren't in my system, but they were a winning team. So that was an easy one. So this is a whole new deal for me. So I have to be a little bit different. But they're an easy group to work with, you know, like it's refreshing. And before I continue, look, unbelievable job of getting students to the game, you know, and it was a dual effort. I thought, you know, Megan Jarling did a really good job of getting him here, but our guys did an unbelievable job too. Andy Barba, Rotroff, Toby Okani, they went out and kind of solicited those guys to come. They were on campus all week. And again, this is a type of school that the players have to integrate on campus and be part of the campus in order for people to come to the games, or they're not going to come. So our guys have been to soccer games. They've been to volleyball games, football games, but they're a good bunch of guys. Like they care, you know. And so I was impressed with our student body. And obviously it's a great building to play in, and the fans helped us win the game. I mean, so, you know, that was a big deal.
I noticed you went over and you kind of recognized the student section prior to the start of the game, and it's always refreshing to see a coach kind of go over there and recognize that, and that's a big part of the crowd and the atmosphere.
It's
How
important.
big was that, especially being in this new building? I know you played a couple games in here last year, but you know, how big was it to kind of open the season in this new place, not just to get the win here?
Well, Dave Harper built a really nice building. It's a high-quality building, but it really means nothing if nobody comes to the game, right? Like, you know, so it's important. It's a huge factor. You know, you go to VCU, you go to Dayton, you go to St. Louis, like those fans make a difference, you know, just to name a few, really. St. Bonaventure, you know, so like that made a big difference. And, you know, guys play hard when people are at the game. You know, they're human beings as well, right? So I thought it was really good, and I think it's good for the students too. You know, like that's why you go to college, right? We all went to college and support our university and our teams, and you know, it's more of a good college experience compared to the last 2 years when we had no college experience. So I think, you know, we have to continue to, you know, to really support those students, whether it's me buying them pizzas or food or whatever, or our athletic department buying them things, whatever, giving them T-shirts, whatever we have to do to get them to continue to come, because I think it's one of the most important things that we have to do as a, you know, as a basketball staff and as a department.
How about in terms of recruiting, just what kind of impact do you feel like this new facility is going to have?
Well, we haven't been able to take advantage of it yet, right, because we haven't really been in it. You know, we sold the dream, but it's going to help us. And again, it's the same thing. Like if nobody comes to the game, you can't bring any recruits, right? Like it's a meaningless arena if you don't have people at the game. So let's not undersell the importance of how many people were at the game tonight. And we can do better than that, right? Like, but we have to earn it. Like, you think about it, like you can't really blame the Duquesne fans for not coming. There hasn't been many winners over the years. Like, you know, the return on investment hasn't been great. So, like, you have to earn that support. But one thing I know about Pittsburgh people, they respect teams that play hard, that fight hard, that play together, that are good people. You know, because that's what the Pittsburghers are, right? They're just good old souls and hardworking individuals. So we have to be just like the city, really.
How about, you know, one game is a small sample size. How much of what we saw tonight, or what of tonight did we see that you think is going to be part of the identity or the makeup of this team going forward?
Well, we're going to be in a lot of close games, just like we have been for our first 4 years. So are we going to be able to make the plays when it matters, both at the defensive and the offensive end? You know, we got solid point play, you know, from Primo tonight. You know, it reminded me a lot of Sincere in his first year, really, very similar in a lot of regards, defensive-minded, pretty athletic, you know, shot the ball pretty good, especially when it really mattered. He's got some things he's got to work on. He's got to be a more consistent practice player. And Jackie's another one, you know, I chose not to play him in the second half. And I told everybody in the room, like, listen, I can't worry about, you know, feelings, but Jackie could put the ball in the basket, and he's an important guy. And so, you know, we're going to need him as well. And really, we're going to go. I think our front court's going to be fine once we get everybody. We're going to have to continue to develop that back court to really get what we want out of this. I think that's going to be key for us. Zach, you don't have any questions?
That was one and done.
Thank you.
Nice shirt. A new one?